Happy Valentine's Day! I am in week 15 of my pregnancy, and let me tell you one thing, I never know what to expect. One day I will be feeling great, and the other day I will feel like a hot mess, fatigued, and just not well. I had a little bit of a scary incident yesterday where I was dealing with some constipation early in the morning, and um, I felt these pangs of like abdominal cramping, and it was very sharp, and the pain wasn't intermittent. It was moving through my body like a wave. Like I could feel it going up and down like a wave. So it was going up and down all the way to my pubic bone. That was pretty scary. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was going to faint or I was going to vomit. And I felt overheated and just diaphoretic. And my poor husband, he wakes up 6:30 in the morning with his wife on the floor groaning and moaning, and he probably is thinking, oh no, I have to call 911. So that was really scary. It turns out I probably just had a vagal incident where because of straining, I guess maybe I vagaled. And the thing is, I don't understand how I vagaled because I was not straining on the toilet, but that's the only explanation, because all those symptoms, except the abdominal cramping, are definitely linked to the body's response when it vagals. So, yeah, that was a really scary, I think the most scary part was the abdominal cramping, and then the abdominal cramping moved to like my left side, and then my leg on the left side started cramping, and then I was having lower back pain, and I was in the back of my mind, I was fearful that perhaps, I was going through premature labor, and obviously at this stage that would be really, really bad. So I called my midwife, told her what happened, and she said that to keep track, to take it easy for the day, stay hydrated, and to let her know if I experience any additional cramping or I experience any vaginal bleeding. So throughout the whole day, I was fine as rain. Did feel like I had the energy just knocked out of me for the rest of the day. Tuesday is usually my shopping day, so I've been having a routine for my shopping, so it wasn't bad at all. I just had to go into one store, and then I had to go to another store to pick up my groceries. So my mom was like, don't go out shopping. And I'm like, Mom, I'm going to listen to my body. If I feel ill, I will not go out and do the grocery shopping, but I need to get this done. She's very, very worried about my health and safety all the time, and perhaps sometimes too much. So yesterday was a day where I just felt really, really I was just, the energy was just, I was exhausted. I did make dinner, and dinner turned out great, but still, I was tired. I was really, really tired. And then lately, I have been the best. I know my symptoms have been really intermittent, mainly with headaches and fatigue, basically. But I think that the symptom that has improved the most has been the nausea and the amounts I'm able to eat. During the first trimester, I felt like I was eating the meal size of like a preschooler. I was not able to eat a whole lot. And then obviously it was pretty bad. It was like constant nausea. So I do still have intermittent nausea, but it's not every day. Usually it's sometimes when I'm in the middle of eating something. And the thing is, I just don't ever know when it's the kind of nausea, meaning stop eating, I can't handle anymore. Like I think last week I had that, was it Thursday last week or Wednesday? And I lost like half my turkey melt, which is something, it was strange because I ate that turkey melt almost every day. It was like, it's one of my favorite breakfasts. I'll have turkey, I'll have one slice of cheese, and then I'll have 2 boiled eggs, and I'll have my avocado on the top. I was halfway through eating that, and then all of a sudden I felt like, don't feel good. So I stopped eating, and then my head was in the trash can. I don't know what to expect because usually I can pretty much chug water. This morning I woke up, started chugging water out because I was thirsty. And then all of a sudden my mouth starts watering and my head's in the trash can. I'm throwing up. I'm like, I told my husband this morning, I said, it's a good thing that I just had water in my stomach and that's all I threw up. It's a much... I hate to even use the term vomiting experience, but it was a much better vomiting experience. So yeah, things, as I said, they're up and down. I feel like I'm on a little roller coaster. My moods are very stable though. I do find myself at times getting fearful for the baby and wanting to know kind of what's going on with the baby's growth and development, and kind of worrying sometimes, oh, am I doing something that is going to somehow harm the baby? Like for example, this morning I was cuddling with my husband and I playfully pulled him on top of me, and he landed not terribly hard on me, but a little bit. And I was joking around. I'm like, oh, the baby probably got startled. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh no, what if that harmed the baby? Which is like, there was no hard blow to my uterus area or pelvic area. So there was no need to fear, but I do find myself getting into these mindsets where I'm very fearful and I have to just commit it to prayer. And I think that is something throughout the pregnancy that has really, really helped me, just really taking the time to say, God, you're looking after me and you're looking after this child, or God, you're my maker and you're the baby's maker. And I will trust in you in all times, no matter how fearful I feel. So I just take the time, even if I'm driving around and I'm having fearful thoughts, I take the time to pray and to bring myself to a state of realizing that there are bad things that happen and it's out of our control, but to put your life and your hope in your Savior. So I went a little bit more into, my faith than I usually do in these vlogs, but I think that's important because it is who I am. I wanted to go back to the lab tests. I think I touched upon the NIPT test I did about 2 weeks ago. So around Friday last week, I got the call from the OBGYN's office, and I was really excited. I thought for sure that they were calling to tell us the result of the test. The test will go over genetics, and it will also go over the sex chromosomes to reveal the gender of the baby. And I was really excited. I think I was showering. I was in the shower, so I missed the phone call. And I just jumped at the telephone as soon as I could, and I called them back. And I called him back. I wasn't able to reach the medical assistant who had called me. So I just was kind of on pins and needles, and I was waiting for them to call me back. So they finally did call me back, and I got news that was very disappointing. So they told me that somehow, I don't know whether it was the wrong test tubes or I didn't exactly understand the details, but they said that the NIPT test had been contaminated. So the results were is it inconclusive or non-conclusive? Inconclusive. We'll just stick with the first one, inconclusive. So yeah, I was really disappointed, but again, I just brought myself back to center and I remind myself that patience is a virtue. My husband and a lot of people really, really want to know the gender of the baby. My original plan actually was not even to get any blood test or even learn on ultrasound what the gender of the baby was. I was just going to wait till the baby was born. And I know that sounds really crazy. I know not a lot of people do it that way, but that was my plan. But now that everybody's so excited to know the gender of the baby, I actually am quite excited myself. Like I'm really want to know if it's a boy or a girl. The majority of the family, they all swear they know it's a boy. I was able, yes, oh gosh, Monday, I got together with a family friend and her daughters. We were baking some cinnamon rolls and I made donuts for the first time. Just had a lot of fun, and I was talking to her and she made me laugh so inwardly because she's like, "Yeah, I think you're having a girl." And I'm just like, "You think I'm having a girl? Everybody says it's a boy." So we'll see. My husband is 100% convinced it is a boy. I, as the mother, I have no inclination at all. I did have a dream. Actually, this was the night before I got the call about the NIPT test. I did have a dream, my first actually childbirth dream, that I gave birth to the baby, and it's a very confusing dream. I gave birth to the baby, and the baby was just perfect. It was a little on the smallish size, but it was like a really long baby, like its legs were pretty long in the dream. And I'll never forget looking down and saying, "Oh, it's a girl. Oh, my little girl." And then all of a sudden, I have the baby wrapped up in a blanket finally and walking down the hallway with the baby. And then I open the blanket and I'm like, "Oh, it's actually a boy." So I have zero, zero clue. I've had since finding out I was pregnant, I've only had 2 dreams related to babies. The first one, obviously, I just told you what it was about, a little bit of what it was about, but the second dream was all about breastfeeding. So it's interesting now that I'm starting to have some dreams about pregnancy because I was having just the most random espionage, most detailed dreams I've ever had in my life. And I'd wake up in the morning and tell my husband about them. And I'm like, wow, you really do get the most vivid dreams when you're pregnant. So back to the subject of the NIPT. I called when I spoke to the medical assistant OBGYN office, she told me that they would put in for authorization for a test that is the same. It's basically the same test, but it comes back sooner. She quoted 4 to 5 days, and then she said, "Oh, about a week." So I'm thinking that it would take about a week, she said. But then she said 4 to 5 days. I'm like, okay, well, which one is it? Just people in the healthcare field, they don't really give clear expectations for timing. And I think that's really important. But yeah, so they put in that. It was authorized. And then I was also waiting for them. I was also waiting to get the lab draw for the genetic carrier test. And I think I already went over the testing with you guys. It will test me for being a genetic carrier for, I think, 14 different types of diseases. So I think yesterday they finally put in the orders because it had been approved. And then today I got my labs drawn. So I have no idea how long the genetic carrier test will take, but in about a week I should be finding out if we're having a little boy or a little girl. So yeah, we'll see if my husband's right. Just so confusing how he's so sure, like, and I still don't understand because there's so many moms out there that they say, "Oh, I had a feeling all along, like I knew it was a boy or knew it was a girl," and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Why do I have no like no sway either way, like if it's a boy or a girl? At the end of the month, I think my upcoming appointments are the end of the month. I have the second visit with a nurse practitioner, and it's not the first one because I did not want to go back to the first nurse practitioner. Hopefully, and I know this is silly to worry about, but hopefully the healthcare practitioners who read the nurse practitioner's note won't prejudge me before they meet me, because it was just so wrong how I was treated, and then how I was labeled in her notes saying OBGYN concern against medical advice. Like, there was nothing at all in that meeting to make that nurse practitioner put that in her notes. So that really bothered me. I had to let it go. Time to move on. But I really hope that moving forward that my experience with this healthcare what is it called? This healthcare group will say, I hope that I have a lot more positive than negative experiences, because with the nurse practitioner and with my lab being contaminated, I've had more negative than positive, and I'm looking forward to having some more positive experiences. So I have, end of the month, I have a second meeting that is with a nurse practitioner. And then I also have that same week, I have my third meeting with the midwife. I really, really like the midwife so far. She's very kind and open, and she really takes the time to listen, which is important. I really do think it's important. And then I have my anatomy scan in March, and I'll be almost 19 weeks or so. So I'm gonna have my mother-in-law accompany me for that ultrasound, and yeah, I'm excited to have her along. I think that this video was carried on long enough. Almost been talking for 20 minutes now. So I will bid you adieu, and we will check in next week for our 16-week pregnancy update.